जी, नमस्कार, स्वागत, अभिनंदन, आभार आप सभी का। आज के इस वीडियो के अंदर इन विच आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट अ शॉर्ट हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंग्लिश लिटरेचर। एंड अगर आपने इस चैनल को आप फॉलो कर रहे हैं, अपने इस खुद के चैनल को आप फॉलो कर रहे हैं, सो यू विल गेट टू नो कि हमने अभी तक एक पूरा का पूरा जो चैप्टर है वी हैव डेडिकेटेड इट टू एंग्लो सेक्शन ईच। सो आई थॉट ऑफ कि वीडियो जो होती है वो इट्स अ गुड मीडियम, बट आई थिंक दैट इफ यू गॉट द मटेरियल रिटन इन अ मोर ब्यूटीफुल वे, सो इट विल बी मोर बेनिफिशियल फॉर यू। सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट मैंने सोचा कि आपके लिए इस तरह से मैं इंग्लिश लिटरेचर की हिस्ट्री को पढ़ाऊँ। सो टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न अबाउट अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, a very important age which we have to understand if we want to understand England. So we will get to know in the next slide. So in this slide you will get to see a lot of things written out there, and the most important thing is ki we are going to discuss the historical background and the cultural background of Anglo-Norman age. क्योंकि अगर आप historical और cultural background को नहीं समझेंगे तो you are not going to understand what kind of literature was written in this age. So if you read historical background, the Battle of Hastings has established a Norman king on the throne. So this is what you have to understand, that after the Battle of Hastings, the King of England was not from England, it was from France. And because of that, the English people got influenced because of that king. And this event had changed a lot of things around the period, because the Normans were from France and they used French as their language. So what you have to get in your mind, that the king was from France and he eventually followed France, and because of that the main language of England is now French, and it became the language of court also. But for people, it's not that no more important. For people, it's till now there is the old English which is very important. So because the Normans were from France and they use French as their language, and the Britons most probably speaks the old English. When these Norman French people appeared in Anglo-Saxon England, they brought with them three noteworthy things. The most important lines which are written in this slide, you will get to know that these three things which I have mentioned on this slide are the most important thing which they have bring with them. The first thing is that they bring culture and practical ideas. If you get to see each and everything about Anglo-Saxon age, then you will get to know that there is an invasion, there is a series of invasions, and when a place get invaded by many type of persons, then many type of tribes, then the place is not going to be in a shape where we can call it in a unite kind of shape. So the England was not in a unite shape before this invasion, because now for the first time there is aristocracy, there is a system of rule, there is a system of law in England, and because of that we can get to see that they bring cultural and practical ideas. French, as we all know, the people have their a different kind of culture, they have a different kind of mindset, they have a different kind of theme towards life, and because of that for the first time English people get to know that what kind of civilization they have to understand and how they have to be more civilized. The next important thing which they have bring is the nationalistic idea. The nationalistic idea क्या होता है? देखो, इससे पहले अगर आप देखोगे तो इंग्लैंड कहीं ना कहीं एक ऐसी एंटिटी था, एक ऐसा कंट्री था जो हमेशा से ही एक अलग अलग प्रकार के इन्वेजन्स में बटा हुआ था. उसके पास एक अकेला, या कह सकते हैं कि एक इम्पोर्टेंट जो एक होता है ना, एक तरीके से एक पूरा नेशन हो, वो कहीं से भी नहीं था. क्यों नहीं था? क्योंकि वहां पे चीजें वैसी होती नहीं थी, है ना. कभी इन्वेजन हो रहा है, कभी कोई राजा बन रहा है, कभी कोई राजा बन रहा है, कभी कुछ हो रहा है, कभी कुछ हो रहा है. दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स वो हैपनिंग देयर, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वहां पे कोई भी एक नेशनलिस्टिक, जो आपके दिमाग में एक नेशन की जो छवि होती है, वो इंग्लैंड को लेके इंग्लैंड के लोगों के बीच में नहीं बन पा रही थी. सो व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट इफ यू गॉट a strong rule on your people, that for the first time England is getting a real king. And before they were invaders, and they were just coming down on the Iceland, and they were just looting that Iceland, and now they were becoming kings. But no one is there for the people. But for the French people, because they were more civilized, they have mind in them, they have culture, they have practical theories, and because of that they have established the rule. And for the first time, the people of England, which were Britons and Celts, and the people who were living from the ages, they get to know about a king, and they get to know about the first important thing, which is a theory which can be called as nationalistic theory. The next, the wealth of new language. एक चीज़ आपको समझनी पड़ेगी कि जब आप कभी भी लिटरेचर पढ़ते हो या कभी भी आप किसी एक कंट्री की आप अगर देखोगे कि किस तरह से उसका डेवलपमेंट हुआ, तो यू विल गेट टू सी देयर इज अ बिग रोल ऑफ लैंग्वेज इन दैट, बिकॉज लैंग्वेज, व्हाट लैंग्वेज गिव्स यू द मीडियम टू शेयर योर आइडियाज, एंड व्हेन यू गेट न्यू लैंग्वेज, देन व्हाट you get different literature also, and because of that the French language was way more developed than English at that time, and the literature of that language was also way more developed at that time. And because of that we can get to see that for the court people the French was their main language, and for the common people of England the old English was the मेन लैंग्वेज. सो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, वेल्थ ऑफ न्यू लैंग्वेज अगर आप समझना चाहो हिंदी के अंदर, तो वो ये हो गया कि इंग्लैंड में फ्रेंच पीपल है, तो वहाँ पे जो पहले ओल्ड इंग्लिश की लैंग्वेज थी, और जब भी कोई नई लैंग्वेज आती है तो अपने साथ वो उसका लिटरेचर, उसका तरीका, उसके सिविलाइजेशन को भी लेके आती है. तो ये एक जो चीज़ वहाँ पे आई, तो उसके साथ साथ क्या हुआ वो आप डिफरेंस आप पढ़ सकते हैं. द लैंग्वेज ऑफ एरिस्टोक्रेट्स वाज फ्रेंच एंड द लैंग्वेज ऑफ कॉमन पीपल वाज मिडिल इंग्लिश. उससे क्या हुआ कि लैंग्वेज ऑफ एरिस्टोक्रेट्स की क्या बन गई, फ्रेंच, और द लैंग्वेज ऑफ कॉमन पीपल क्या हो गई, मिडिल इंग्लिश. उसके बाद द एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ स्कूल यूनिवर्सिटीज ऑल्सो हैपेंड इन दिस पीरियड. दिस यूनिवर्सिटीज लाइक कैम्ब्रिज एंड ऑक्सफोर्ड वर एस्टेब्लिश्ड एट द टाइम, एंड द लंदन बिकेम ए सेंट्रल ऑफ ओल्ड इंग्लैंड. लंदन जो हम आज की फॉर्म में देखते हैं, या फिर इसके आने के इस एज के बाद जिन एजेस में देखेंगे, जैसे कि एज ऑफ चौसर में, एज ऑफ रिवाइवल में, इवन एलिजाबेथन एज में, लंदन बिकम ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट सिटी ऑफ द इंग्लैंड. बट हाउ एंड व्हेन इट बिकम the most important city, it's into this period where the Oxford got established and the कैम्ब्रिज गॉट एस्टेब्लिश्ड. तो ये तो हो गई हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड की, और वहाँ पे जो धीरे धीरे डेवलपमेंट्स हुए उनके बारे में बात. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड. कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड को जानने से क्या होगा, देखो कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड को जानने से ये होता है कि इफ यू नो दैट हाउ द कल्चर ऑफ a city is, or how the culture of a nation is, then you will get to know that why the literature of this age or why the literature of this place is like this. like अगर आप न्यूडिटी की बात करते हो, या आप कुछ वल्गैरिटी की बात करते हो, या बहुत सारी जो चीज़ें, बहुत अलग अलग चीज़ें जो आप देखते हो या सुनते हो, what now they are in India, but before that was not in India. क्यों? क्योंकि वहाँ पे कल्चरली प्रोहिबिटेड चीज मानी जाती थी, पर अभी यहाँ पे ये चीज़ें ऐसी हो रही हैं क्योंकि अभी थोड़ा कल्चर ग्लोबलाइज्ड हो रहा है. बट हमेशा क्या होता है, आपके कल्चर का, आपके जो फोक सॉन्ग्स बनते हैं, आपकी मूवीज बनती हैं, उस पर आपके कल्चर का इम्पैक्ट होता है. तो वैसे ही किसी भी एज में जब लिटरेचर लिखा जाता है तो हमेशा उसके ऊपर क्या होता है, उसके कल्चर का इम्पैक्ट होता है. ये आपको बात हमेशा अंडरस्टैंड करनी है. सो लेट्स डिस्कस कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड. द पोप वाज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट अथॉरिटी एट दैट टाइम, एंड ही सेंट अ फ्यू पीपल इन ईस्ट टू of the world, and that resulted in getting to know about the other languages like and Latin and Greek, and they developed a mutual culture. देखो इस टाइम का सबसे बड़ा जो डेवलपमेंट अगर आपको मैं कहूँ तो वो पहला डेवलपमेंट था कि इन द लास्ट एज वी गेट टू नो दैट सेंट अगस्टाइन वाज देयर एंड ही हैव फ्लरिश्ड द क्रिश्चियनिटी इन ऑल ओवर द प्लेसेस. सो जब क्रिश्चियनिटी धीरे धीरे से बढ़ने लगी तो पोप भी हम जानते हैं, क्योंकि रोमन पोप्स वगैरह का क्या था, इन्फ्लुएंस था. तो पोप ने क्या किया कि भाई द वर्ल्ड इज बाउंडेड नाउ, what we have to do, that we have to open this world and we have to get to know about each and everything which is happening apart from Europe. So the popes have sent some people to go and search about how the things are going in the other parts of the world, and these kind of voyages get to know that there are other parts of world and they speak the different kind of languages like Latin and Greek. और उसकी वजह से क्या हुआ, जब आप अलग अलग लैंग्वेज पढ़ते हो तो आप अलग अलग कल्चर के बारे में भी जानते हो, जब आप अलग अलग कल्चर के बारे में भी जानते हो तो आपकी एक म्यूचुअल रेस्पेक्ट अलग अलग चीज़ों के लिए निकल के आती है. तो ये कुछ मेन डेवलपमेंट्स थे विच आर हिस्टोरिकल, विच आर cultural, and which are political also. So you have to keep in mind when you are reading Anglo-Norman period. अभी हम आगे बात करेंगे इनके वर्क्स के बारे में. हाँ जी. So let's discuss a lot of important things and the works which were written in this age, because we have discussed the cultural, the political, and the social background of Anglo-Norman age. So today it's the time that where we have to discuss the literary works. So if you get to know कि इतना सारी चीजें हुई, इतना कल्चरल डेवलपमेंट हुआ, तो क्या पता लिटरेचर भी बहुत सारा लिखा गया होगा. Yes, there is a slight improvement in the literature, but if you talk about the quantity remains same as the Anglo-Saxon age. The reasons behind that England get to England got adaptive to its new role, like very silently and very slowly, and there was no any sort of we can say the printing press, and there is no way of formal education. The universities are just established, so there is no much of development in the field of literature. But what we have to see here, that each and every literature which you are going to see in this age is basically something which is derived from, is it derived from Greek literature, Latin literature, or French literature? Because we just read in the last slide that the people of England, the Pope have sent them to different places to get to know about some languages, to get to know about some literature, to get to know about some other things. So because of that, we are having some works, and the most important works which you have to remember in this age is the first work which you can see on your screen is Geoffrey's Historia Bedkam Britain. So this work is very important because it is can be seen as a very important work for the later works which were written in this age or after this age. क्योंकि इस एज के अंदर आपको कहीं ना कहीं आपको देखने को मिलेगा कि इसी वर्क के अकॉर्डिंग आपको ब्रिटेन को जानने का मौका मिलता है. इफ आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, सो you will see the characters like Julius and Caesar in this work particular, because we get to know that Rome have invaded the England, and in this work we get to see about the such characters like. And if you talk about how much influence this book have, so you will get to know that Shakespeare's King Lear and Malory's Martyr de Arthur and Tennyson's Aeschylus, these three works, the most important works which we see or which we feel are important, they are also based on these works. So you have to understand this thing, that this work is very important because it tells us about the history of England. Now let's talk about Lemon's Brood. So Lemon's Brood is a very important work. It is also taken from some Greek and French influences, and this basically is a work which talks about the history, the different kind of verses, and it is some sort of prose work, the first important prose which we can see. And after that you will get to see the metrical romances. So metrical romances, what are the metrical romances? The metrical romance, you get to know, is a theme in romance. What is romance? Romance is basically not that Shahrukh Khan and Kajol's movie तुझे देखा तो ये जाना सनम, वो romance वाली बात यहाँ पे नहीं हो रही. Romance basically has a different theme here. It is love, it is mightiness, it is chivalry, it is bravery. These are the things which are combinedly called as romance in this period. So, and metrical, what is metrical? Metrical basically is defined in two ways. The first way is that it's written in a certain meter, and the second way is how the things are there, and what are the influences in these things, and किस किस जगह की बातें हो रही हैं. So there are basically three places about them the metrical romances are written. The first is the matter of France, the second is the matter of Rome, and the matter of Britain. And these three metrical romances have different themes and different characters which you have to remember. Just remember the name of the works. You are not going to get some serious questions from this type of work. Next is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. You have to remember that this is one of the most important works, because in this work you get to see a different kind of theory and a different kind of fantasy presentation, because this is a work where we get to see some more macho kind of persons, more macho kind of warriors, and they are just having a deal and how the things are going on. I will describe them in detail if I get a chance, but for now you have to remember the work which is the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and there is no, you have to remember this, there is no name of the writer of this work, so you have to understand this also. And the most important work, which is the Pearl. The Pearl is basically a poem, and it is said to be, it is believed to that it is basically a work where we get to see three poems and the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight together. The Pearl, cleanness and patience, these are the works which are together, and these three works have some same kind of theme. And the pearl basically describes a father's love to his daughter who is now dead, and in this work the poet had presented that pearl as the girl the father lost it. So these are the works which we have to remember, and this type of literature is written into that. So if you combinedly see Anglo-Norman age, then Anglo-Norman age is basically important for two things. First thing, the introduction of nationalism in England, and the second thing, the introduction of language and institutions. So this is what you have to understand. And there is Magna Carta also. The Magna Carta was also in that time, and that time you have to remember that Magna Carta is basically like a constitution of England. So this was also happened in that age. So you have to remember this, and ये आपको ध्यान रखना है कि ये सारी की सारी बातें ही आपको कहीं ना कहीं बहुत अच्छे तरीके से इस चीज़ों को समझाएंगे। आई होप आपको ये चीज़ें अच्छे तरीके से समझ में आएंगी। अगर आपको समझ में आती हैं, अगर आपको ये तरीका नया अच्छा लगता है तो आप मुझे बताइएगा, एंड आई विल ट्राई टू कंटिन्यू दिस वे, एंड इफ यू लाइक द वीडियो वे आई विल गिव दैट टू यू। सो जस्ट लेट मी नो इनटू दिस द कमेंट्स ऑफ दिस वीडियो कि कौन सा तरीका अच्छा है, ये आपको स्लाइड्स वाला तरीका अच्छा लगता है या फिर वीडियो वाला तरीका। ठीक है जी, तब तक के लिए मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में। जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार।